The champagne glass slipped from Olivia's manicured fingers, shattering against the marble floor of the grand ballroom. All eyes turned to her, but her gaze remained fixed on the scene unfolding before her. Her carefully selected +1, the kind, humble single father she'd met just weeks ago, was being enthusiastically embraced by her soon-to-be brother-in-law, who was exclaiming loudly, "Boss! I can't believe you're here." The wedding guests fell silent, confusion spreading across their faces like wildfire. Olivia's sister, the bride, stood frozen in her white gown, mouth agape. In that moment, Olivia realized that the simple life story James had shared with her was anything but simple, and her perfect plan was about to unravel in spectacular fashion. If you're enjoying this story so far, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more heartwarming tales of unexpected connections and life-changing moments. Your support helps us bring more stories like this one to life. 3 weeks earlier. Olivia Chen checked her watch for the third time in 5 minutes. The coffee shop was bustling with the usual morning crowd, but the man she was supposed to meet was nowhere to be seen. As the CEO of Chen Innovations, one of the fastest-growing tech companies in the country, she wasn't accustomed to being kept waiting. "Ms. Chen?" A deep voice broke through her thoughts. She looked up to see a tall man with kind eyes and slightly disheveled dark hair. He was dressed simply in jeans and a button-down shirt that had seen better days. Not at all what she had expected. "James Parker?" she asked, extending her hand. "Yes, sorry I'm late. School drop-off was a bit chaotic this morning." He shook her hand firmly. "My daughter Emma decided today was the day to have an existential crisis about her science project." Despite herself, Olivia smiled. "How old is your daughter?" "8 going on 30, James replied with a warm laugh that crinkled the corners of his eyes. "She's convinced she's going to cure cancer before high school." There was something disarming about James Parker. Perhaps it was the way he spoke about his daughter with such obvious pride, or maybe it was the complete lack of pretense in his manner. Either way, Olivia found herself relaxing for the first time in weeks. "So," she said, getting down to business, "your application for the community grant program was quite impressive. Tell me more about your after-school center." James's face lit up. "It's nothing fancy yet, but we provide a safe place for kids whose parents work late. We help with homework, offer some enrichment activities, and make sure they get a good meal. Most of these kids would otherwise be home alone or hanging out on the streets." As he spoke, his passion was evident. This wasn't just a job for him, it was a mission. Olivia found herself drawn in by his vision and the practical way he approached the challenges. "And you do this all while raising your daughter alone?" she asked. A shadow crossed his face. "Emma's mother passed away when she was 3. Cancer. It's been just the two of us since then." "I'm sorry," Olivia said, meaning it. James nodded, then smiled again. "We manage. Emma is the light of my life, and the center gives both of us purpose. The kids there have become like extended family." By the end of their meeting, Olivia had decided that James's center would receive the grant. But as she was about to leave, an impulsive thought struck her. "This might sound strange," she began, "but my sister is getting married in 3 weeks, and I need a +1. James looked surprised. "Are you asking me to be your date?" Olivia felt a flush creep up her neck. This wasn't like her at all. "It's just that my family has been pressuring me about being married to my work, and I thought having someone there might deflect some of the attention." "So, you want me to pretend to be your boyfriend?" James asked, raising an eyebrow. "Not exactly. Just a friend. Someone I'm getting to know." She hurried to add, "I'd make it worth your while. An additional donation to your center." James considered her for a moment. "You don't need to bribe me, Ms. Chen. I'd be happy to help you out, but only if you agree to one condition." "Which is?" "You come volunteer at the center for a day. See what we do firsthand." Olivia hesitated. Her schedule was packed, and hands-on community service wasn't exactly in her wheelhouse. But something about James's earnest invitation made it hard to refuse. "Deal," she said finally. The following Saturday found Olivia trading her designer suits for jeans and a simple blouse as she made her way to the Sunshine After-School Center. The building was modest, a converted storefront in a working-class neighborhood, but the moment she stepped inside, she could feel the warmth of the place. Children's artwork covered the walls, mismatched furniture created cozy reading nooks, and the sound of laughter echoed from a back room. James emerged from that room, his face breaking into a smile when he saw her. "You actually came," he said, sounding pleasantly surprised. "I always keep my word," Olivia replied. A small whirlwind in the form of a dark-haired girl with bright blue eyes, clearly James's daughter, burst into the room. "Dad!" Tyler figured out the math problem. She stopped short when she saw Olivia. "Are you the billionaire lady?" James looked mortified. "Emma. That's not." Olivia laughed, genuinely amused. "I'm Olivia. And I'm not quite a billionaire, but I do okay." Emma studied her with unnerving intensity. "Dad says you run a big company that makes computers smarter. Is that true?" "That's one way of putting it," Olivia said. "We develop artificial intelligence systems." "Cool," Emma declared. "Can you teach me?" Before Olivia could respond, James intervened. "Emma, Miss Chen is here to help out today, not to give private coding lessons." Actually, Olivia found herself saying, "I'd be happy to show Emma and any other interested kid some basics sometime." The day passed in a blur of activity. Olivia helped younger children with reading, assisted teenagers with math homework, and even found herself in the kitchen, helping to prepare a nutritious dinner for everyone. It was exhausting in a way her high-powered business meetings never were, but also strangely satisfying. As the center emptied out for the evening, with parents picking up their children, Olivia found herself sitting at a small table with James and Emma, sharing the meal they had helped prepare. "So," James said, "what did you think of your day of community service?" Olivia considered the question seriously. "It was illuminating. These kids are amazing. And what you're doing here matters." High praise from the almost billionaire, James teased gently. Emma, who had been quietly eating her spaghetti, looked up. "Are you Dad's girlfriend now?" James choked on his water. "Emma. What? She's pretty, and you haven't had a girlfriend since forever." Olivia felt her cheeks warm. "Your dad and I are just friends, Emma. I asked him to come to my sister's wedding with me because I thought he'd be good company." Emma nodded sagely. "That's how it starts in the movies." Later, as James walked Olivia to her car, he apologized. "Sorry about Emma. She has no filter." "She's wonderful," Olivia said sincerely. "You're doing an amazing job with her." Under the glow of the streetlight, James looked at her with an expression she couldn't quite read. "Thank you for today. The kids loved having you here." "I loved being here," Olivia admitted, surprising herself with the truth of it. As she drove away, she realized she was looking forward to the wedding more than she had in months. And it wasn't just because she'd have a buffer against her family's probing questions about her love life. Over the next 2 weeks, Olivia found herself making excuses to visit the center. She brought new computers, organized a career day with some of her tech industry colleagues, and even started a coding club that met twice a week. Emma was always the first to arrive and the last to leave, her quick mind absorbing everything Olivia taught her. And then there was James. Each time she saw him, Olivia discovered something new to admire: his patience with the children, his quiet strength, the way he could defuse tense situations with humor. He wasn't like the men in her usual social circle, with their polished exteriors and calculated ambitions. James was genuine in a way that made her increasingly aware of the walls she had built around herself. One evening, after the coding club had finished, James invited her to join him and Emma for pizza at their apartment. "It's nothing fancy," he warned as he unlocked the door to a modest two-bedroom place. "But it's home." The apartment was small but cozy, filled with books, Emma's artwork, and photographs. Olivia was drawn to a framed picture on the mantel, James with a beautiful woman, both of them beaming at the camera. "That's my mom," Emma said, coming to stand beside her. "Dad says I look like her." "You do," Olivia said softly. She was beautiful. James appeared with plates for the pizza. "Sarah was amazing," he said, his voice tinged with both sadness and fondness. "She was a kindergarten teacher. The center was actually her idea originally." As they ate, Emma regaled Olivia with stories about school and her friends, while James occasionally interjected with gentle teasing or proud smiles. It was so different from the formal dinners Olivia was used to, where conversation was a strategic game and vulnerability was a weakness to be exploited. After Emma went to bed, James and Olivia sat on the small balcony, sharing a bottle of wine. "Tell me something real about yourself," James said suddenly. Not the CEO version, but the real Olivia. She looked at him, startled. "What makes you think there's a difference?" "Everyone has layers," he said simply. "I'm just curious about yours." Olivia took a sip of wine, considering. "I never wanted to run the company," she admitted finally. "My father built it from nothing, and it was always understood that I would take over someday. I studied what he wanted me to study, worked where he wanted me to work. When he died 5 years ago, I stepped into his role because it was expected." "Do you enjoy it now?" "Parts of it," she said. "I've taken the company in directions my father never would have, like the community grant program. But sometimes I wonder what I would have chosen if I'd had a real choice." "What would you have chosen?" James asked, his eyes reflecting the city lights. Olivia smiled ruefully. "That's the thing, I don't even know. I never allowed myself to think about it." They talked late into the night, sharing stories and dreams in a way Olivia hadn't done since college. When she finally left, James walked her to her car again. "The wedding is this weekend," she said. "Are you sure you're still up for it?" "Absolutely," he replied. "Though I should warn you, I'm a terrible dancer." Olivia laughed. "I'll take my chances." As she drove home, she realized with a jolt that what had started as a convenient arrangement had become something she was genuinely looking forward to. And that realization was both thrilling and terrifying. The day of the wedding arrived, and Olivia found herself unusually nervous as she waited for James outside her penthouse apartment. When his car pulled up, a modest sedan that looked out of place among the luxury vehicles in her neighborhood, she felt a flutter in her stomach that had nothing to do with the upcoming family event. James stepped out, and Olivia's breath caught. He was wearing a well-fitted suit that, while not designer, looked remarkably good on him. His hair was neatly combed, and he had trimmed his usual stubble. He looked handsome in a way that made her suddenly self-conscious about her own carefully selected designer dress. "Wow," he said, taking in her appearance. "You look incredible." "So do you," she replied, meaning it. "Where's Emma today?" "With her best friend's family. They're having a sleepover, so I'm free until tomorrow afternoon." He opened the passenger door for her. "Your chariot awaits, Ms. Almost Billionaire." The drive to the upscale vineyard where the wedding was being held was filled with Olivia briefing James on her family dynamics. "My sister Rebecca is the artistic one, she runs a gallery in New York. She's marrying David, who's in finance. My parents will be focused on why I'm not married yet, so be prepared for some not-so-subtle hints about biological clocks and the loneliness of success." James listened attentively. "And what's our story? How did the powerful CEO meet the humble community center director?" "Through the grant program," Olivia said. "That's true enough. We can say we connected over our shared interest in education and technology." "Also true," James noted with a smile. The best cover stories always contain elements of truth. When they arrived at the vineyard, Olivia was immediately swept into family obligations, photos, helping the bride with last-minute details, greeting relatives. James integrated seamlessly, charming her mother with his attentiveness and engaging her father in a surprisingly knowledgeable conversation about business trends. "He's lovely," Rebecca whispered to Olivia as they adjusted her veil in the bridal suite. "How long have you been seeing him?" "We're just friends," Olivia insisted, though the words felt hollow even to her own ears. Rebecca gave her a knowing look. "Sure, and I'm just friends with David. I've never seen you look at anyone the way you look at him." Before Olivia could protest further, it was time for the ceremony. She took her place as maid of honor, watching as her sister walked down the aisle toward her future husband. From her position at the altar, she could see James sitting with her extended family, his warm smile catching hers across the rows of guests. The ceremony was beautiful, with Rebecca and David exchanging heartfelt vows that brought tears to many eyes, including Olivia's. As the newlyweds made their way back down the aisle, Olivia followed with the best man, then joined James for the cocktail hour before the reception. "That was lovely," James said, handing her a glass of champagne. "Your sister looks radiant." "She does," Olivia agreed. "They seem really happy together." "And what about you?" James asked quietly. "What would make you happy, Olivia?" The question caught her off guard. Before she could formulate an answer, they were interrupted by the announcement that guests should make their way to the ballroom for the reception. The grand ballroom was decorated with thousands of twinkling lights and lush floral arrangements. Olivia and James found their seats at a table near the front, along with other family members who immediately began peppering James with questions about his relationship with Olivia. He handled it all with grace and humor, neither confirming nor denying any romantic connection, but making it clear that he held Olivia in high regard. She found herself watching him, appreciating the way he navigated her complicated family dynamics without breaking a sweat. After dinner, the dancing began. Despite his warning, James proved to be a competent dancer, leading Olivia around the floor with confidence. "You lied," she accused playfully. "You're not terrible at this." He grinned. "I may have taken a few lessons in preparation." Couldn't have the CEO of Chen Innovations being seen with a man who steps on her toes. The thought that he had gone to such effort for her sent a warm feeling spreading through her chest. As they swayed to a slow song, Olivia found herself drawing closer to him, her head resting lightly against his shoulder. It felt right in a way that both excited and frightened her. The moment was broken by the announcement that the bride and groom were about to make their entrance as husband and wife. Everyone gathered around the dance floor, champagne glasses in hand for the toast. Rebecca and David entered to applause, both glowing with happiness. Olivia raised her glass along with everyone else as the best man began his toast. And then it happened. David, scanning the crowd as the toast concluded, suddenly locked eyes with James. His expression shifted from joy to shock to recognition in the span of seconds. "Boss," he exclaimed loudly, breaking away from Rebecca to approach James. "I can't believe you're here." The champagne glass slipped from Olivia's fingers, shattering against the marble floor. All eyes turned to her, but her gaze remained fixed on the scene unfolding before her. James looked as stunned as she felt, while David was enthusiastically embracing him. "You know each other?" Rebecca asked, confusion evident in her voice. "Know each other?" David laughed. "James Parker is the founder and CEO of Parker Technologies. He's my boss, well, my boss's boss's boss. The company I work for is a subsidiary of his." "Olivia."